ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। भगवद्गीता अध्याय 6 श्लोक 41। प्राप्य पुण्यकृतान् लोकान् उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते। This is answer to question regarding a yoga bhrashta. A yoga bhrashta is the one who has pursued the path of yoga. He has dedicated his life for the spiritual pursuit. Yet, because of some reason, he got distracted from the path. Therefore, he could not arrive at the culmination of spiritual pursuit. What happens to such a seeker? He has not attained moksha. Then what happens to such a seeker? Krishna says, nothing bad happens to him. Even though he has not attained moksha, he has not lost anything. Because of the sadhana, he has accomplished a certain amount of spiritual unfoldment. And the spiritual unfoldment that he has accomplished in this life will be carried forward to the next lives also. It is not lost. The effort in the spiritual direction is never lost. As Krishna had told in chapter 2 itself, Nehabhikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate. There is no abhikramanasha. There is no loss of effort in the spiritual pursuit. It will be carried forward. In addition to that, because of the sadhana, because of his dedication to the sadhana, he has served his guru, he has done japa, he has done certain types of austerities, he has led a good life to certain extent. And because of his sadhana, he has attained a certain amount of punya also. And this punya will take him to a better life hereafter. He may go to a better loka. The loka where the people with the punya go. There are such lokas like Swarga, Devaloka, Gandharvaloka, etc. There are many such lokas. Depending on the gradation of our punya, depending on the degree of our punya, we can go to higher lokas. Now Krishna says, after death, a yoga bhrashta may go to the higher lokas. Prapya punyakritan lokan. Yoga bhrashta. A yoga bhrashta, what happens to him? Where does he go after death? Prapya punyakritan lokan. He goes to the higher lokas. The higher lokas are attained by the people who have done punya. Therefore, Krishna describes it as punyakritan lokan, the lokas of the people who have punya, who have accumulated punya. They go to higher lokas. And this yoga bhrashta will also go to such loka. And not only he goes to such loka, he will stay in such loka for long time. Ushitva shashwati samaha. For many years, for many long years, he will stay there in the higher loka. He will enjoy the higher loka because he has done punya. The sadhana has given him punya. And after a while, after many years, his punya gets exhausted. when his punya gets exhausted, what happens? He will be reborn as a human being. And in the human birth also, what kind of human birth he will get, where he will be born, to which parents he will be born, in which family he will be born. Even this is stated. Shuchinam Srimatam Gehe Abhijayate. He will be born in a wealthy family. Srimatam Gehe, in the family of the wealthy ones, prosperous ones. And they will be prosperous. In addition to being prosperous, they will be Shuchinam. They will be clean people. There will be some prosperous people, but they may be corrupt. They may not have the values. They may not have the culture. Not such family. The prosperous people who have the values and cultures, who are dharmika, who adhere to dharma, he will be born in such families. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Shuchinam Srimatange he abhijayate. He will be born in the family of clean and prosperous people. In fact, this is one possibility. There is another possibility also, which is even better. We will see the next shloka. अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम् लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्. अथवा, और, धीमताम योगिनाम एव कुले bhavati. He is born in the family of yogis who are wise, who are spiritually wise, who have the spiritual wisdom. Dhimatam yogina. Dhimatam means they have the spiritual wisdom. They know the Shastra. He is born in the family of the people who study Shastra. Then he will get exposure to the Shastra right from the childhood. And yogina, not only they have the knowledge of Shastra, not only they have the knowledge of the spiritual literature, they are yogis also. His parents, elders, they practice yoga. Means they are devoted to the spiritual pursuit. A spiritually inclined family. A family where the spiritual values are very much alive. He is born in such family. Dhimatam yoginam kule eva bhavati. This happens very rarely. To get such a birth in the family of yogis, one should have great punya. Therefore, Krishna glorifies such a birth. Etadhi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrisham yat idrisham janma. This kind of a birth, being born in the family of yogis, being born in the family where everybody is spiritually inclined, such birth, yat idrisham janma, this kind of birth, etad durlabhataram hi, it is very much durlabha, very difficult to get. Durlabha means it is difficult to get. Why difficult to get? Because it requires special punya. And Shankaracharya adds one more point. These yogis may be daridras. They may be poor. See the previous one, Srimatam Ge. They are rich ones. But these yogis, they may be poor. Daridra. They may not be physically, they may not be materially well to do. They may not be materially rich, but they are spiritually rich. Being born in a spiritually rich family is even better than being born in a materially prosperous family. So, Yoga Bhrashta is reborn. And when he is reborn in a conducive family, a family and a surrounding that is conducive for the spiritual pursuit. He is born in such a place. After birth, what happens to him? In the next life, what happens to him? Does he lead an ordinary materialistic life? Krishna says it is not so. Even in the next birth, he will be pulled towards the pursuit of moksha, because he has already accumulated the samskara. He has the samskara of the spiritual knowledge, the spiritual pursuit. And this samskara manifests once again in the new birth. And therefore, even in the other birth, he will be pulled towards the pursuit of moksha. See, next shloka, 43. तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगं लभते पौर्वदेहिकम् यतते च ततो भूयः संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन. Tatra, in the new birth, tam paurvadehikam buddhi sanyogam labhate. Paurvadehika buddhi sanyoga. The association with the buddhi, association with the spiritual wisdom, which he has attained in previous janma, all that he has learnt in the previous janma, all that he has practiced in the previous janma, everything remains in his mind, in his sukshma sharira, in the form of samskara, in the form of hidden impressions. The hidden impressions are called samskara. And the samskara manifests at the appropriate time in the new life, in the new birth. So, paurvadehikam buddhi sanyogam labhate, tam labhate. It comes to him, means his spiritual samskara manifests. That is why we can see that some people are spiritually inclined right from early age, whereas some people do not get spiritual inclination even at the age of 99.5. So how do some people get the spiritual inclination very early in life? It is because of the purva janma samskara. It gets activated. Sometimes it can get activated at a very early age, but sometimes it may not manifest at a very early age. Why it is so? One of the acharyas says it is because of some powerful papa. If there is a powerful papa, it blocks the spiritual samskar. It overpowers the spiritual samskar. And only when the papa gets dissolved, only when the papa gets exhausted, it allows the spiritual samskara to manifest. That is why some yoga bhrashtas, their spiritual inclination will manifest at a later age, maybe at the age of 40, maybe at the age of 60, any age. We don't know when the papa will get exhausted. But when the papa gets exhausted, the spiritual samskara starts manifesting, and then he or she starts showing interest in learning Bhagavad Gita. Let me start attending Gita classes now. And when the samskaras are very strong, then this person, this yoga bhrashta, is pulled towards the moksha pursuit. And then he starts continuing his sadhana further. The yoga bhrashta continues his sadhana further. The sadhana which he had left in the previous janma halfway, it is continued further in this janma. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau kurunandana. He kurunandana, O Arjuna, the descendant of Kuru. Tataha bhuyaha, tataha, thereafter, once the spiritual samskara has manifested, bhuyaha, once again, in this life, samsiddhau yatate, he makes effort for samsiddhi, he makes effort for moksha. His sadhana continues. Therefore, from this we can understand that the spiritual pursuit does not stop in one life. It can continue for lives together. Shloka 44. Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha jijñāsurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. Purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate hyavashopi saha. Saha yoga bhrashtaha. The yoga bhrashta, if he has dedicated himself to spiritual pursuit intensely in the previous janma, then because of the force of his samskara, his strong spiritual samskara, he is pulled towards the pursuit of moksha. Hriyate. Krishna uses the word hriyate. Tenaiva purvabhyasena hriyate. Because of his purvabhyasa, because of his sadhana in the previous life, in this life, he is hriyate, he is pulled towards moksha. Avashaha api, and sometimes he is pulled helplessly. Even if he does not want, he gets pulled. Nobody can stop him. The parents cannot stop him. Family cannot stop him. Friends cannot stop him. Most often, I hear that the family and friends discourage people from pursuing moksha. If someone is interested in moksha, the other people think something is wrong with him. I hear many such instances. So people discourage. Don't listen to Bhagavad Gita. You can listen to Bhagavad Gita after a few years when you are bedridden. So people discourage. Despite the discouragement, avashaha api, even if he doesn't want, he cannot stop himself also. He is hriyate, he is pulled towards moksha. And that is the power of the samskar brought about by the sadhanas. So this much is about yoga bhrashta. Now, Bhagavan is glorifying yoga, the practice of yoga, the path of yoga, the path of meditation, the path of contemplation on the Atma, the path of contemplation on the Atma Tattva. This pursuit, this sadhana, Bhagavan is glorifying. Jijñāsurapi yogasya shabda brahmati vartate. Even if one is a jijñāsu, he has not yet learnt yoga. He has not yet started practicing yoga. He just wants to learn yoga. He is a jijñāsu. He is interested in yoga. Means he is interested in the sadhana. He is interested in contemplating and abiding in the Atma Jnana. Even if he gets such an interest, you can say that he has gone beyond, he has transcended the lower sadhanas. Shabda Brahma ativartate. He has transcended Shabda Brahma. Shabda Brahma means the karmas. The karmas prescribed by the Shastra, by the Karma Kanda. He has transcended the karma phala, the phala of the karmas enjoined by the Karma Kanda. even if he has got an interest in yoga. See, this is a glorification. Even if he has got an interest in yoga, he is great. That means if he really practices yoga, then he is much greater. Just an interest in yoga is enough to make a person great. Then what to talk about a person who has dedicated himself for yoga, who is making effort to progress in the path of yoga. That is how the yoga sadhana is glorified. Shloka 45. Prayatnadyatamaanastu yogi samshuddha kilbishaha अनेक जन्म संसिद्धः ततो याति परां गतिम्. Yeah. In the previous shloka, Bhagavan talked about one who is interested in yoga. Yogasya jijnasu. Even he transcends the karma phala. Then what about the one who makes effort to progress in yoga? With the effort he is practicing yoga, what happens to him? He gets the highest result, which is moksha. Tu, there is a tu in the beginning. Prayatnad yatamanaha tu. Tu indicates vailakshanya. Unlike a jijnasu, unlike one who is interested, just interested, but does not make effort, this person who is prayatnadyatamanah, he makes effort, great effort in a proper way. That kind of a yogi, samshuddha kilbishaha, he becomes samshuddha kilbishaha. His mind becomes pure. All the impurities are cleared. He gets a chitta shuddhi. And this chitta shuddhi is not attained in one life. Success in yoga is not attained in one life. Krishna clearly states this. Aneka janma samsiddhaha. He attains the ultimate success only after many janmas. Aneka janma samsiddhaha. After many janmas, he gets a samsiddhi. He gets the success, the ultimate success in the form of jnana prapti. in the form of self-realization. It is attained after many janmas. It does not mean all of you will have to wait for many janmas. How many janmas I have to wait? Somebody may get this question. We might have been practicing for many previous janmas. Already we might have spent aneka janma. Many of us. I am sure group, in this group, everybody might have spent a few janmas before. Otherwise, it is difficult to get interest in such a class, because it will sound boring. Nothing is interesting here. Nothing is interesting for a person who has not started. So, interest in a proper teaching of Bhagavad Gita itself will take many janmas. If you are enjoying this class, that means you have already spent a few janmas, maybe 100 janmas. So, aneka janma samsiddhaha tataha param gatim yati. Thereafter, after getting samsiddhi, he attains paragatihi, the ultimate goal, moksha. Next two shlokas also glorify a yogi. तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी तस्माद्योगी भवार्जुन. Yogi is greater than other sadhakas. There are people dedicated to other sadhanas. Some are dedicated to tapas. They keep fasting and keep doing other austerities. Compared to them, a yogi is greater. Tapasvibhyaha adhikaha yogi. A yogi is greater than tapasvis. Jnanibhyopi matodhikaha. Yogi jnanibhyaha api adhikaha mataha. A yogi is understood to be greater than jnanis also. Here jnanis means those who study the shastras, the scholars. Even compared to the scholars, yogi is greater. Karmibhyashchadhiko yogi. Yogi is greater than karmis also. Greater than the people who are dedicated to karma. Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Hey Arjuna, O Arjuna, therefore, Tasmat, since a yogi is greater than everybody else, even the other sadhakas, yogi bhava, you become a yogi. Here we should remember, not immediately. Krishna is not asking Arjuna to become a yogi immediately because he is in the battlefield. He is not telling in the battlefield you start meditating. Close your eyes, sit down, and start meditating. It is not the idea. Krishna is fully aware that Arjuna is not mature enough to become a yogi yet. He has to do so many other things. To become a yogi, initially one should practice other sadhanas. Karma yoga is needed. That is why Krishna is asking Arjuna, do karma. Kuru karma, do karma. Now, later on, you will become a yogi. The karma yoga that you are performing now will prepare you for a full time contemplation. So, that is your goal, not immediate. Shloka 47. Yoginamapi sarvesham madgatenantaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yo mam same yuktatamo mataha. Among yogis also, there are varieties. Here Krishna is using the word yogi in a wider sense. Anybody who practices meditation is a yogi. Many people practice meditation. In a way, you can call everybody a yogi. But all of them are not practicing the same type of meditation. Some are meditating to make their mind blank. They are just sitting and making themselves blank, empty. They just relax. In fact, Krishna does not suggest such a yoga. Then other people, they are upasakas. They may do upasana of one or another form in order to get some kind of power, some kind of miraculous power. Some people do upasana. Even they can be called yogis. Among all yogis, who is the greatest type of yogi? The greatest yogi is the one who devotes himself to Ishvara, who devotes himself to Paramatma. who performs meditation in order to attain Paramatma. Such a yogi is the greatest among all types of yogis. Sarvesham api yogina, among all types of yogis, yaha madgatena antaratmana, who his mind is fixed on me. Antaratma means antahkarana. His antahkarana, his mind is madgata, ishwaragata, paramatmagata. His mind is fixed on Paramatma. Paramatma is his top priority. Shraddhavan, he is a Shraddhavan. He has great Shraddha in Paramatma, in the Shastra, in the pursuit of moksha. Mam bhajate, he worships me, focusing his mind on me, focusing his mind on Paramatma, abiding in the knowledge of Paramatma. He worships Paramatma. Mam bhajati. In fact, it is the greatest type of bhajanam, greatest type of worship, to abide in the knowledge of Paramatma. So, same yuktatamo mataha, he is yuktatamaha, he is the greatest yukta, greatest yogi. Iti me mataha, this is my understanding. So, among all types of yogis, the yogi who has devoted himself for the sake of Paramatma, for the attainment of Paramatma, for the contemplation on Paramatma, is the highest type of yogi, because he is the one who will get moksha. Other yogis may get some siddhis, they may become great in this world, people may go around him, the other type of yogis, but he is not going to get moksha because he is not devoted to Paramatma. He is devoted to some other type of pursuit. Whereas the one who is devoted to Paramatma is most proximate to moksha. Therefore, such yogi is the greatest. Yukta tamaha. With this, the chapter comes to an end. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.